For 300 years, they've cleaned your ships, cooked your meals, raised your children. Humans, invisible in plain sight, have shaped the galaxy's empires. Now, one cadet reveals their plan. What secret have they kept from the stars? Dive in, or miss the truth that changes everything. For millennia, the galaxy spun like a vast, relentless machine, its gears forged in war and ambition. 5 species Korath, Sonari, Velith, Zorak, and the ethereal coalition dominated the stars, their empires built on conquest, strategy, and fear. The Korath roared with primal fury, their battle fleets a storm of claws and plasma. The Sonari, a hive-mind collective, moved with eerie precision, their thoughts linked across light years. The Velith crafted plans so intricate they seemed to predict the future. The Zorak, armored titans, endured assaults that would shatter lesser worlds. And the ethereal coalition, beings of living energy, wielded power that bent reality itself. Their conflict shaped the cosmos, their truces fragile threads holding back annihilation. At the heart of this tense equilibrium stood the citadel of infinite constructs, a floating fortress in the triad expanse, where the galaxy's finest warriors were forged. For 1,200 years, it had trained Korath warlords, Sonari tacticians, Velith strategists, Zorak defenders, and ethereal manipulators. No one questioned its authority until a single human walked through its gates, carrying a secret that would unravel the galaxy's oldest truths. The Citadel's command chamber was a cathedral of light and steel, its walls pulsing with holographic displays of ancient battles. Dean Valther, a Zorak with scales like molten silver, stared at a roster projected in the air. His 4 eyes narrowed, his claws clicking against the console, a human. His voice was a low hiss, sharp enough to slice through the chambers. This is a mistake. His aide, Zin Theta, a Sonari drone whose bioluminescent patterns flickered with unease, responded in a modulated tone. No mistake. Dean, Cadet Lena Voss scored in the 99th percentile across all trials: strategy, psychology, adaptability. The tests are species agnostic, she qualified. Valther's tail lashed. Humans are barely spacefaring. Their home world, Earth, is a footnote in our archives classified as moderately hazardous, primarily to itself. How does a species like that infiltrate our academy? Zin Theta's lights pulsed erratically. Her documentation is flawless, she applied. Through standard channels, past every verification, her aptitude rivals our finest. Through the chamber's viewport, they watched Lena disembark from a shuttle. She was unremarkable average height, dark hair pulled into a practical braid, carrying a worn leather satchel. Her eyes, sharp and curious, scanned the citadel's towering spires with the casual interest of a tourist. She paused at a memorial wall, a digital tapestry chronicling the galaxy's greatest military victories, and began scribbling on a primitive data tablet. She's taking notes, Zin Theta observed, its voice tinged with confusion. Let her, Valther growled. She'll be gone by week's weekend. The citadel breaks even the strongest. A human won't last a day. The lecture hall was a coliseum of intellect, its tiered seats packed with cadets from every major species. Korath warriors bared their fangs. Sonari drones hummed in unison. Velith strategists sat with perfect posture. Zorak defenders loomed, like statues, and ethereal cadets shimmered with barely contained energy. At the center stood Instructor Cranver, a Velith tactician with 400 years of experience, his mandibles clicking as he addressed the room. Today, we dissect the Apex Doctrine, Cranver declared, his voice crisp and commanding. A holographic star map flared to life, showcasing the 5 dominant species. The Korath dominate through ferocity, their battle rage unmatched. The Sonari coordinate with hive mind precision. The Velith craft strategies that outwit time itself. The Zorak endured any assault, and the ethereal coalition manipulates energy to reshape battlefields. These are the apex species, the pinnacle of galactic warfare. Murmurs of pride and rivalry rippled through the hall. Then, a hand rose in the front row. Lena Voss, The human sat calmly, her satchel at her feet. Her data tablet open, Crenver's mandibles twitched. Yes, Cadet Voss. Lena stood, her posture relaxed but her voice steady. Your doctrine is flawed. The hall froze. A Korath cadet snarled, his claws flexing. A Sinari drone's lights flickered in agitation. Crenver's eyes narrowed. Explain. Lena approached the holographic display, pulling a stylus from her pocket. The Apex Doctrine assumes these 5 species are the pinnacle of military evolution, but it's static, predictable. She began crossing out names with deliberate strokes. Korath ferocity relies on brute force, but it's vulnerable to attrition. Sinari hive minds collapse if you disrupt their nexus. Veleth overplan, leaving no room for improvisation. Zoric armor can't adapt to unconventional weapons, and the Ethereal Coalition, they're so focused on energy manipulation they neglect physical combat. The hall erupted in snarls and protests. A Zoric cadet, Korath, lunged forward, his scales rattling. You dare insult our legacy. Lena turned, her gaze calm but piercing. Sit, she said, her tone so matter-of-fact it stunned Korath into compliance. The room fell silent again. She wrote a single word on the display. Humans, you're all specialists, Lena continued, facing the sea of stunned faces. You've optimized for a galaxy where you fight the same enemies, using the same tactics, for centuries. Humans, we've spent 12,000 years fighting ourselves. We had to get creative. Crenver's voice was nice. You claim humans surpass the apex species. No, Lena said, her smile sharp. I'm saying we've been studying you for 300 years, and we've already won. The revelation came not in the lecture hall, but in a cluttered maintenance bay deep within the citadel. Gralv, a Korath technician with battle scars crisscrossing his hide, muttered to his supervisor as he rewired a power conduit. Those human contractors, they've been running the grid for decades. Always polite, always efficient. Brought me a pastry last week. The supervisor, a Veleth named Solara, froze. Humans? Here, Gralv shrugged. Yeah, about 40 years. They're everywhere: sanitation, logistics, data processing. Good workers. Solara's report triggered a cascade of panic that reached the Galactic Concord, the ruling council of the 5 empires. Within hours, they convened in a secure holographic chamber, their images flickering with agitation. General Tarsik, a Veleth strategist, spoke first, his voice taut. Humans have infiltrated our infrastructure, millions of them cooks, clerks, engineers. They've had access to our systems, our plans, our weaknesses. They're not infiltrators, Zin Theta countered, it's bioluminescent patterns pulsing erratically. They're employees, legally hired, fully documented. They've been improving our systems, not sabotaging them. Warch of Korath slammed a fist on the table, his claws denting the surface. Then why are they resigning? All of them, across 23 sectors, were effective immediately. They're leaving us vulnerable. Energy Lord Vin of the Ethereal Coalition pulsed with unease, his form flickering like a dying star. Their withdrawal isn't random, it's coordinated. They're preparing for something. The room fell, silent as a new transmission interrupted. Dean Valther's image flickered into view, his scales pale with shock. Cadet Voss has ... rewritten our strategic simulation. She defended an indefensible system in 15 minutes. The strategic simulation was the Citadel's ultimate test, a no-win scenario designed to humble even the most arrogant cadets. The task: defend a resource-scarce star system against a Sinari invasion fleet, outnumbered 15-1. The enemy had superior technology, unlimited reinforcements, and a flawless command structure. Failure was inevitable, or so it was thought. Lena raised her hand 15 minutes into the exercise. I'm done, she said, her voice devoid of bravado. Instructor Milra, a Sinari with a lattice of glowing nodes across her frame, scoffed. Impossible. The scenario is unwinnable. Lena approached the tactical display, her movements precise. You're thinking like a Sinari. Predictable. You assume I'll fight your fleet head-on. I won't. She manipulated the controls, showing a series of seemingly chaotic moves. First, I hack your communication network and broadcast a fabricated distress signal, claiming your fleet is infected with a nanovirus. Your allies hesitate, fearing contamination. That's a bluff, Milra snapped, her nodes flaring. Exactly, Lena said. While they're debating, I reposition my forces to mimic a retreat, but I'm actually seeding the system with automated decoys, cheap drones mimicking capital ships. Your fleet advances, thinking they've won. Then I leak your battle plans to the Korath, who've been itching for an excuse to attack you. The cadet stared, dumbfounded. Azoric cadet, Thaler, growled. You're turning the galaxy against us? No, Lena corrected. I'm making you irrelevant. Your fleet retreats because attacking now risks a multi-empire war. The system stays safe without a single shot fired? Milra's nodes dimmed. That's not warfare. It's better, Lena said. It's a strategy. The room was silent, save for the faint hum of the display. Then, a Velith cadet, Silas, spoke, her voice trembling. How did you know their command structure was rigid enough to exploit? Lena's smile was faint, but knowing. Because I've studied your wars for years, and I've read your history. You haven't faced a real challenge in centuries. The Galactic Concord's emergency session was a storm of accusations and fear. Reports flooded in. Human workers had not only resigned, but left behind detailed manuals for their replacements, ensuring no critical systems failed. Yet the empires felt exposed, their reliance on humans laid bare. Then came the bombshell. A Zoric intelligence officer, Clive, uncovered a hidden data cache in a trade hub's archives. It revealed that humans had been in contact with galactic civilization for 300 years, not as conquerors, but as observers. They'd built a shadow network, not of spies, but of collaborators. Human traders had brokered deals between rival empires. Human scientists had shared innovations anonymously, and human diplomats had mediated disputes under the guise of neutral third parties. They've been shaping us, General Tarsik whispered, his mandibles trembling, not controlling, but guiding. They've been fostering cooperation while we prepared for war. Energy Lord Vin's form flickered violently. Why reveal themselves now? The answer came in the Citadel's Grand Assembly Hall, where Lena addressed a packed audience of cadets, instructors, and holographic representatives of the Galactic Concord. The hall was a sea of scales, lights, and energy fields. Every eye fixed on the lone human at the central podium. We've been your neighbors for 300 years. Lena began, her voice steady and resonant. We've fixed your ships, cooked your meals, taught your children. We've learned your strengths, your fears, your dreams. And we've seen you drift toward a war that could end everything. She activated a display, showing a timeline of human integration, trade routes, cultural exchanges, joint research. We didn't come to conquer, we came to connect. Humans learned long ago that the strongest civilizations aren't built on dominance, but on collaboration. We've been proving it for centuries. A Korath cadet, Korath, stood, his voice trembling with a mix of anger and curiosity. Why now? Why risk exposure? Lena's smile was genuine, warm, because you're ready. Your empires are on the brink of war, but your people, your scientists, your traders, your children are already building peace. We're just giving you a nudge. The revelation that humans had been embedded in galactic society for 300 years was staggering, but it was only the beginning. A deeper truth emerged during an interrogation of a human engineer, Myra Chen, who had worked in a Velith research facility for 20 years. Under general questioning, she revealed a secret that sent shockwaves through the Concord. We didn't just observe, Myra said, her voice calm but firm. We seeded ideas, the Cineri's new encryption algorithms. A human cryptographer suggested the framework during a casual lunch. The Korath's improved shield harmonics that came from a human intern's thesis, shared anonymously. the Ethereal Coalition's energy stabilization tech. We nudged them toward it during a joint project. General Tarski's mandibles clicked. Rapidly, you manipulated our progress. No, Myra corrected, we shared knowledge. We saw your potential and helped you reach it. But we also learned your weaknesses, not to exploit them, but to prepare for the day you'd need to work together. The Concord's leaders sat in stunned silence. Warchief Korath growled, "You've been playing us like pawns." Myra shook her head. "Not pawns, partners. You just didn't know it yet." Back at the Citadel, Lena faced a new challenge. The Concord demanded she prove humanity's intentions. They tasked her with a new simulation: unite the 5 empires in a joint defense against a hypothetical extragalactic threat. The scenario was impossible. Centuries of rivalry made cooperation unthinkable. Lena accepted without hesitation. She gathered a team of cadets, one from each species, and spent days in the simulation chamber. The Korath cadet, Korath, insisted on aggressive tactics. The Sinari, Zin Theta, demanded perfect coordination. The Velith, Silas, overanalyzed every move. The Zorak, Thaler, focused on defense. The ethereal cadet, Vinner, prioritized energy-based solutions. Lena listened to each, then proposed a hybrid strategy. Korath, your ferocity leads the initial strike to disrupt their formation. Sinari, you coordinate our counterattacks to exploit their confusion. Velith, you analyze their weaknesses in real time. Zorak, you anchor our defenses to protect key assets. Ethereal, you amplify our weapons with your energy manipulation. The simulation was chaos at first, clashing egos, miscommunications, and near failures. But Lena's calm leadership kept them focused. She mediated disputes, translated ideas across species, and encouraged improvisation. By the end, they'd repelled the invasion with minimal losses, a feat no single empire could have achieved. The Concord watched in silence as the results flashed across their screens. For the first time in centuries, they saw a glimpse of unity. Lena's speech in the Grand Assembly Hall was broadcast across the galaxy, reaching billions. For 300 years, humans have been your neighbors, she said, her voice carrying a quiet strength. We've learned from you, worked with you, lived among you. We've seen your empires prepare for wars that could destroy everything. But we've also seen your people, your scientists, your artists, your children build connections that transcend borders. She gestured to the display, now showing a montage of galactic cooperation. A Korath engineer collaborating with a Velith mathematician, a Sinari drone teaching a human child to code, an ethereal poet reciting at a Zorak festival. This is the future we propose, not a galaxy of apex predators, but one of apex partners. Warchief Korath's holographic image flickered into the hall. And if we refuse, if we maintain our current systems? Lena's eyes met his, unflinching. Then you'll discover that 2.5 million humans per empire, embedded in your infrastructure for decades, know more about your systems than you do. We've mapped your strengths, your weaknesses, your vulnerabilities. We prefer partnership, but we're prepared for alternatives. The threat was delivered with such calm certainty that it chilled the room, but Lena's tone softened. We'd rather build something new. Imagine Korath strength paired with Velith precision, Sinari coordination enhanced by Zorak resilience, ethereal energy guided by human creativity. Not 5 empires competing, but one civilization thriving. The silence that followed was profound, a collective pause as minds recalculated centuries of assumptions. Then, slowly, cadets began to stand. Korath was first, his scales shifting to a respectful silver. Zin Theta followed, its lights pulsing with curiosity. Silas, Thaler, and Vinner rose, their expressions a mix of awe and determination. Dean Valther spoke, his voice heavy with realization. In 1,200 years, the Citadel has never witnessed a shift like this. Cadet Voss, what you propose is ... unprecedented? Lena smiled, genuine and warm. Paradigm shifts are humanity's specialty. We've reinvented ourselves countless times to survive. This time, we're inviting you to join us. The Galactic Concord proposed a radical experiment, a joint task force, combining the strengths of all 5 empires and humanity. The Citadel became its headquarters, with Lena appointed as an advisor despite her status as a first-year cadet. The decision sparked outrage among traditionalists, but the Concord's leaders saw no alternative. Lena's simulation had proven what words alone could not. Unity was possible. The first joint exercise was, as Lena predicted, chaos. Korth warriors clashed with Velith planners, Sonari drones struggled with human improvisation, and the ethereal coalition's energy manipulations baffled everyone. Tensions flared, with Korth accusing Silas of overcomplicating strategies, while Vinner complained about Zorak's stubbornness. Lena mediated, her calm presence a steady anchor. She assigned mixed-species teams, forcing them to confront their differences. She introduced human problem-solving techniques, brainstorming sessions, rapid prototyping, even informal gatherings over food. Slowly, patterns emerged. Korth's strength bolstered Velith precision. Sonari coordination amplified human creativity. Zorak's resilience grounded the coalition's volatility. A year later, the task force unveiled its first project, a shared exploration fleet designed to chart unclaimed regions of the galaxy. The fleet's design was a marvel of integration: Korth hulls, Sonari navigation systems, Velith targeting algorithms, Zorak shields, and ethereal power cores, all enhanced by human ingenuity. It wasn't perfect, but it was proof that cooperation could outshine competition. The galaxy didn't change overnight. Empires still bristled with suspicion, and old rivalries simmered. But the seeds of collaboration had taken root. Across the stars, joint projects multiplied: research stations, trade hubs, cultural festivals. A Korth engineer and a Velith scientist co-authored a paper on fusion dynamics. A Sonari drone and a human artist collaborated on a holographic exhibit. An ethereal poet and a Zorak storyteller performed at a galactic summit. Lena, now a senior cadet, stood on the Citadel's observation deck, watching a fleet of mixed species ships depart on their first mission. Her data tablet buzzed with messages from across the galaxy: Korth engineers, Sonari analysts, Velith poets, all thanking her for showing them a different way. The real victory wasn't in outsmarting the apex species. It was in proving they didn't need to be apex at all. The galaxy was no longer a machine of war, but a tapestry of possibilities, woven by countless hands, claws, and minds. Years later, Lena Voss stood before a new class of cadets, her own graduation long behind her. The Citadel had changed its curriculum, now included courses on interspecies collaboration. Inspired by her work, she looked out at the diverse faces: Korth, Sonari, Velith, Zorak, ethereal, and a handful of humans, and smiled. "When I arrived here, I was an outsider," she said. "But I wasn't alone. Humanity has always been here, in the shadows, learning, building, connecting. We didn't come to conquer. We came to show you what's possible when you work together." A young Korth cadet raised a claw. "What if we fail? What if our differences are too great?" Lena's smile widened. "Then we try again." Humans learned that lesson long ago: failure, in the end, it's just the beginning of a better idea. As the cadets filed out, Lena glanced at the memorial wall, now updated with a new inscription: "To the unseen architects, who taught us that the strongest force in the galaxy is not conquest, but connection."